OP's strange but wholesome tale of growth. AITA for wanting equal treatment. A while ago, an irritating guy named W joined the school. He's always interfering and really bossy, always trying to tell other people what to do. My friend B and I were getting really irritated with his behavior, so we started retaliating. Like if he starts saying we need to be quiet, we'll get louder. The matter kind of escalated, and the three of us got called into the office, and our parents and the principal got involved. W is the teacher's pet, so they're treating him like the victim, and B and I were getting suspended for a month. Well, in a really unbelievable twist, it turned out that B is actually W's long-lost cousin. W has now gotten the school to back off B, claiming difficult childhood circumstances, so he's just taking the semester off. I'm happy for B and all, but I think it's bull that I'm still being suspended when he isn't. I confronted W about it, and he laughed me off and said that he's letting B off because he wants to know him, but I should be glad it's just a suspension and he's not insisting on legal action. I feel this is crazy and really unfair. AITA for wanting to be treated fairly. Edit, since people are saying I'm purposefully leaving things out, here's the tea. B and I were suspended for ruining W's laptop. We were trying to just make the keyboard sticky, but we poured too much syrup and ruined it. He was more pissed about the data he lost for some science project that was on the computer, but the computer was also pretty expensive and new. I acknowledge that was a SHTTY thing and am not contesting that. I'm asking if it is wrong for me to insist that I am treated equally as B and given the same punishment since we did the same things. The timeline is like this. B and I f'd up, messed up, and ruined W's laptop. We all get pulled into the office and suspended. It turns out B is W's long-lost cousin who was kidnapped as a baby. W gets B to not be suspended. B is getting adopted legally back into W's family and is taking off time to adjust to the family situation. What B and I did to W, it started as a prank war to get back at W for always trying to boss us around and being annoying, and escalated. We would just ignore him at first. If he asked us to get quiet, we would get louder. When we were on a group project, we didn't do our stuff until the last minute. Again, this was only in retaliation for W getting worse. What W did to us, he would tell us to the teachers, would single us out, and go out of his way to help other people, so we would get in trouble. He wouldn't do that to other people, just us. We never isolated or oppressed W. We didn't bully him. He's pretty popular and gave as good as he got. B's whole story, in the case of B, he's been in foster care for as long as he can remember. But it turns out he was actually kidnapped when he was a baby from W's family, and then the kidnapper later abandoned him and he was turned over to foster care. One of W's relatives saw the resemblance when we all went to the principal's office and later asked for a DNA test. And that's what happened. W is saying that since B experienced a lot of childhood trauma, he got the school to let up. Some comments from the OP, who was fairly argumentative in the comments. OP, I'm not saying they have to suspend B. I just feel it's unfair that only I'm suspended when we were both involved. They could just not suspend us both, or suspend us for a week, or whatever. I just think it should be the same. And I wasn't bullying anyone. W gave as good as he got and isn't a pushover. OP, B was going to be suspended until W talked them out of it. And for the last time, there was no bullying. Look, you're clearly confused. If you have a question, just ask it. Commenter, what pranks did W do? Because all of your comments so far sound like a prank assault with no counter pranks ever from W. Did he ever actually do anything? OP, he would make a point to get us into trouble, like he wouldn't go out of his way to snitch on other students, just us. In another comment, OP, it started out pretty mild, but then W would escalate, and then we escalated. And the night before this test, W apparently invited the entire class to a study session, and he's some kind of genius. So they all aced the test except me and B, so the teacher called us out. B and I were just trying to get him back by making his laptop keyboard sticky, but when we poured too much syrup on his laptop, we accidentally ruined the laptop and some science data he had on it. Commenter, YTA, you will learn swiftly as an adult that punishment may not occur to everyone guilty of an infraction, and life is rarely fair. Look at the roadways. If 4 cars are speeding down the road and the lone cop pulls over one, the speeding driver can't whine that he can't get a ticket unless every speeder gets a ticket. You are responsible for your own behavior, and if you break the rules, you have to accept punishment. OP, this is school, and I'm still a kid. It's supposed to be more fair. Commenter, so B is a troubled kid with a ton of trauma who grew up in foster care, and you're just a little SHT. Commenter, I've read your comments, bucko. I didn't do anything to you. Your version of escalating is that he doesn't help you out in class or study with you in his personal time the way he does for other people. You're actively harassing him and not entitled to time or help. He advocates for himself by asking you to be quiet during study periods while he's trying to work. That is not doing anything to you. Teachers liking him is not something he did to you. Nothing is being inflicted on you. You find his personality annoying and feel the rules shouldn't apply to you, so you bullied and harassed him. And now he won't help you. Yeah, you can cry me a river on that one. He would make a point to get us into trouble, like he wouldn't go out of his way to snitch on other students, just us. Again, I don't have a problem with the 1 month. I just think it's unfair that I'm being punished when B isn't. Commenter, that makes it worse. You don't mind that you're punished, so you're upset that your friend, who already has a profoundly difficult home life, wasn't made to suffer more. You're mad about that. Like I said, that is not escalating. He didn't lie to get you in trouble. You just don't think the rules should apply to you. Again, I'm not saying I shouldn't be suspended. I 100% agree that I was an arse to W, but so was B. And for that matter, W was an arse right back to us. I'm asking if AITA is asking for equal treatment as B. Commenter, B is your friend. B has had an incredibly hard life and has just got some news that is going to have an extreme impact on his future. Stop whining about this nonsense and be there for your friend instead of trying to add to what he's going through in the name of fairness. Seriously, you just found out your friend was a victim of kidnapping. He's just found his long-lost family. This connection might lead to his kidnapper actually being brought to justice. And your response is, yeah, but he should be suspended too. I'm thrilled for B. Sincerely, I don't get why they're bothering with this stuff at all. W and his family would never have found B if it hadn't been for me. I never once recognized him. Commenter, so, you don't disagree with being punished. You are thrilled for B. You wrote out this post. This is turning into a game of two truths and a lie because that doesn't add up. In the end, you did the thing and you got punished. Your friend got exempted from it due to circumstances, and you are upset over that. YTA. Commenter, yes. Yes, you are. You literally just want him to suffer more, and you can't name a better reason than equality. You were treated equitably. Get over it. Update, I grew up, and I guess you guys helped, so thanks. I'm mainly writing this because I want to make a note to myself. I was honestly pretty pissed with the feedback I got, but it did make me question myself. What actually made me think were the posters that pointed out how insensitive I was being to my friend Bale, who was going through a really crazy time. I don't really have any excuses. I guess the whole thing just felt so insane that I just kind of dismissed it. It was just so insane. One moment we were getting chewed out for a stupid prank, then suddenly it turns out my best friend is related to the guy I hate. It felt like a Cinderella story, except I was Cinderella's fellow scullery maid, and the prince was an arrogant prick and Cinderella's long-lost brother. I hate to say it, but I was definitely jealous. Bale and I were one of the few poor kids, and I was definitely pretty shy around him when the news came out. I kept avoiding him and dismissing him. I was so wrapped up in fair I completely forgot about being Bale's friend. It took me way too effing long to get over my funk, but at least the post was less of an arsehat to Bale, which is probably why when he ran away a few months later, he came to me. He was in really bad shape. There was just so much going on. The whole custody battle, the new family, the flashbacks, and he was drowning in it. I felt like I couldn't leave him alone, but I was scared of what he would do if I tried to tell anyone else. I never thought I would be grateful to see his cousin Wazo, but I felt like I hit the jackpot when he showed up 3 days later. I guess Wazo isn't such a bad guy after all, since he was really great with Bale. I still feel he's a bit of a prick, but he's definitely protective. It's kind of funny because he's technically younger than Bale, but he acts like an older brother. We kind of made a truce while we were focusing on Bale, and now we get along okay. Wazo actually helped me through the process of getting into the special lit class, and I don't feel like a literal moron every time I have to write anything. They had us start keeping a journal, and it's actually been really nice being able to see my thoughts. TLDR, I'm doing better now, so thanks. PS, yeah, I got the names from a name generator, don't at me. Thank you for watching the video.